In this bulletin, Alice Springs to enter a 72-hour lockdown period in the Northern Territory. 22 new community cases detected in New South Wales. And in sport, ticket sales for an AFL match in Adelaide this weekend temporarily suspended. With the latest from the SBS newsroom, good afternoon. I'm Peggy Giacomellos. The Northern Territory has reported no new COVID-19 cases but has ordered Alice Springs to enter lockdown for 72 hours. Health authorities have issued an alert for a mine worker who went to the town's airport who was likely infectious at this venue. The government says although the man hasn't tested positive, his household contacts have become confirmed COVID-19 cases. Chief Minister Michael Gunner says people can travel in and out of Alice Springs for essential goods. And South Australia has recorded 5 coronavirus cases which are linked in the Northern Territory mine site. Health authorities say the family of cases has been transferred to a quarantine hotel, but they had been at home since Saturday. Premier Stephen Marshall says he won't be imposing lockdown orders in the state because the cases had been isolating already.
They are now in that facility. While this is a very concerning turn of events and having this Delta variant in South Australia, we are very relieved.
And New South Wales authorities are hoping coronavirus case numbers will decline later this week as Greater Sydney and other regions remain under lockdown orders. On Wednesday, the state recorded 22 new cases with 11 in isolation during their infectious period, and it's hoped cases will drop if people comply with the rules. Premier Gladys Berejiklian says she wants her state to avoid future lockdowns and she will always follow public health advice to keep New South Wales safe.
You know, I'm disappointed we're in a lockdown situation, but this level of transmission of the virus has forced us into it. But we are already thinking about how we can resume a normal life. We're already thinking about what life after this lockdown looks like.
Federal Health Minister Greg Hunt insists the advice for the AstraZeneca coronavirus vaccine hasn't changed and he respects differing views on the issue. On Monday, Prime Minister Scott Morrison encouraged any Australian adult to have the AstraZeneca vaccine in what some called a surprise announcement. The Australian Technical Advisory Group on Immunisation has recommended AstraZeneca only be made available to people aged over 60. Mr Hunt says he doesn't want to interfere with any relationship between a patient and a doctor while they discuss vaccination options.
What has been the ATAGI advice continues to be the ATAGI advice, and ATAGI advice has always contemplated that where an individual had informed consent, they may elect to do so. But our statement on preferred is unchanged and that remains exactly as ATAGI set out.
The Spanish government has approved draft legislation to allow anyone over the age of 14 to change their gender legally without a medical diagnosis or hormone therapy. The draft bill removes the requirement for 2 years of hormone therapy and a psychological assessment to update their gender and name in official records. It also sets age limits, with 14 to 16-year-olds needing parental approval after Parliament's rejection in May of a proposal from a group of political parties to give children total freedom to legal gender recognition. To sport, and ticket sales for an AFL clash between Adelaide and the Brisbane Lions at Adelaide Oval this weekend have been suspended. The AFL is weighing up whether to have all 18 clubs based in Victoria in response to coronavirus lockdowns in other states and territories. South Australia's Chief Health Officer, Nicola Spurrier, says she doesn't see any issue with the round 16 clash being held on Saturday.
We'll have another conversation with them today about whether they would like to open the ticketing, knowing that we might need to pull it back down the track. I don't think there's a problem with the game being played. It's just whether we have spectators and in which way we have spectators.
Let's see what the weather's doing tomorrow. In Perth, a shower or two, 19, 15 in Adelaide and partly cloudy. In Melbourne, a possible shower, 16. In Hobart, partly cloudy, 14. Much the same in Canberra, 15 degrees. Similar conditions in Wollongong, Sydney and Newcastle, tops of 19. In Brisbane, showers as well, also 19 degrees. In Cairns, similar conditions, 27. And in Darwin, fine weather for you, 33 degrees. Peggy Giacomellos with the latest from the SBS newsroom.
There's a new go-to website for Mandarin and Cantonese speakers in Australia.
Keeping you up to date with the latest Australian and international news and community stories in your language.
Featuring articles, videos and podcasts. From the headlines to health advice, comfort food to local travel tips. Read, watch or listen anytime, anywhere. And discover stories worth sharing at sbs.com.au/Chinese.